Freeworld Heads Up on Monday the 24th of October. Myself and Sanjoy back with you as usual. And as usual, we'll kick off with the currency. So what have we seen, Sanjoy, over the last kind of week?
Well, I haven't got a lot to say about sterling, except when I thought, what am I going to say about sterling, I was reminded of a Doors lyric, Jim Morrison, which is, well, I've been down so goddamn long, it looks like up to me. And that's what it feels like. It feels like sterling's kind of got as bad as it can get. There's most of the bad news is in there. I think pretty much hard Brexit is in that price. And it's teetering around between 121 and 123. 123 I think is a buy in the short term. And it's bouncing along the bottom. It's now more susceptible to political comment than anything else. What we have is a spectre of pressure coming on from Scotland, where Nicola's saying to Theresa, look, there's a clear majority to stay in the EU. That's our mandate, and you're going to have to deal with that. There's another point which is to do with whether Parliament has to be involved in the triggering of Article 50. It's now starting to look increasingly like that, and of course, what's the point of only being able to ratify the final decision when it's like, do we accept this or do we go into the complete unknown? So in 2 years' time, so there's a lot of political jockeying about there, and that's what sterling is bouncing around to. And the interesting thing, though, of course, is the way the media seems to have changed. It seems to have become a little bit Brexit averse. We're hearing a lot more in the Times. We're hearing a lot more fear stuff about the effect of Brexit, particularly about the banks losing their passporting rights. They're talking about special exemption for car manufacturing. And of course, Nicola Sturgeon is saying, well, what about us? What about special exemption for all the people who didn't want to leave? So that's sterling. It's very much a political act. But probably the most interesting thing that's happened over the last, it's been happening over a month. A month ago, the euro was 112.50, and today it's 108.90. That's a drop of 3.5% over about a month. Particularly after last Thursday, the ECB meeting, everybody knew the decision was going to be the same decisions to do with the overall level of quantitative easing, and also the interest rate. Everybody knew that was going to stay the same. When the result was released, therefore nothing particular. Then, of course, there's a speech, and in the speech, he said something about tapering, but what he actually said was tapering because the current QE program extends till March 2017, and if the program extends to 2017, is it going to be tapered down, or is it just going to stop, or are they going to continue? At some point, he's got to say something, Draghi. He did say something. He said, "I'm not going to talk about that." Which is more sort of uncertainty, etc. And the euro, after a weird little spike upwards, fell down about $1.50, and as I say, is now seems to be between the 108, 109. So a little bit of trouble there, and maybe nobody's talking much about America because that's also in the political area. I'm not sure, actually. I'm not sure whether if Trump gets in, and I believe that he can still get in because his supporters are probably immune to the media and rational thought. I don't know whether that's dollar positive or dollar negative. I guess it depends who's going to pay for the wall. So that's the currency. What about demand, Adam? Have you noticed anything?
Yes, the demand. SIAL was kind of a kind of test for demand more than anything else. We had that, of course, last week. Finished up last Thursday was the last day, and the kind of overall story from it is demand just wasn't there. Supplies were there, but demand just wasn't as strong as perhaps we would have liked to have seen or hoped for.
And that seems to be the name of the game, really. We've got several products with strong, bullish supply side fundamentals, and demand seems to be saying, "Oh well, okay. I mean, I've missed the boat, so I'm not going to go in now." I think when I came back, and that must be about 2 weeks ago, we were seeing a lot of spot business, and I think the nature's changed a little bit. I think that bit of spot was people chucking in their hand, I'm out now, I'm just going to have to buy.
Deal me in next time.
Deal me in next time, but they don't see why they should be putting more money on the table at these levels. And that's the same for cashews. Cashews, certainly you can say cashews have stopped going up. The supply side fundamentals are still there. There's no cheap raw cashew to be bought. But it's cheaper to buy it from traders than it is from origin. Almonds, which had a really bullish shipment figure, I'd say the firm, there are still a lot of people who are withdrawn, a lot of sellers are withdrawn, but a lot of shippers have covered, and why would they buy more at substantially higher to what they have paid, So they're going to sit out and wait. And what about the seeds?
So on the seed side of things, again, SIAL didn't generate much interest in the seed side of things, especially for kind of forward demand and kind of bookings from there. I think now would be perfect opportunity to book up to sort of Feb-March. Chinese New Year's finally finished, then look to book after then. Sesame, same story. SIAL didn't generate much in the way of demand, and again maybe book up to the Chinese New Year then when demand still isn't particularly strong. So then
it's the same effect actually in the cashew, for instance. It's the Chinese buyers who are buying a lot, and something quite interesting, which is that Vietnam does give credit in shipment credit to the Chinese, and they do say they're paying later. This is the danger. China, very sort of speculative bull type buyers, but they have no contract behind them. If you've got stuff at the wrong price, the supermarket isn't going to take it in China.
Right.
So it can turn around very quickly, and the way it does that normally is, can I have some extra time to pay for this container?
Right.
So there we go. Maybe slight flagging in demand there. On the currency, continued uncertainty. And it is late October now, so I think it's time to tidy down.
Yes. Prepare for 2017.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Cheers.